we're here with David Brevik, who is obviously working on Marvel Heroes. David, most people will know you from your work on the Diablo series, of course. First of all, tell us a little bit about Marvel Heroes.
Well, Marvel Heroes is a free-to-play, completely free-to-play MMO that is basically Diablo and Marvel combined together. So it's an action role-playing MMO, which really isn't something that exists out there.
Now, I've just sat in a presentation by your team, and they're very much saying this is the next Diablo. This is Diablo on steroids.
Yes.
Is this a project that you've been wanting to do since your work at Blizzard North finished?
I mean, it's been pretty known that I've wanted to do a Marvel game for quite a while. I love Marvel, and so that opportunity presented itself, and I took that. But I've also really wanted to make a massive multiplayer game, and I want to make an action role-playing massive multiplayer game. The original design for Diablo 3 was actually a massive multiplayer game, and so we started working on it there at Blizzard North, and then at Flagship we were making it. It was called Mythos. Never saw the light of day, and so this is. Tried twice and been unable to finish it, and so finally I'm able to make an action role-playing game that isn't a true MMO, and I'm really excited about that, combining all those things together from years and years of trying.
So obviously a lot of people are familiar with the Marvel Universe from the comics and the movies and so on, and people are familiar with the Diablo universe, obviously. As far as the game mechanics are concerned, I mean, how similar, we've played it, and we think it's pretty similar to what we've seen in the Diablo series.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It's very, very similar. I mean, it is, mechanically, we're building it as a game first. We aren't building it as as a story or anything like that. We're building it as the game mechanics are the thing that matter. And so building it as a true Diablo-like game means that it has random levels and it has random loot, and there's certain qualities to that and what that means, and that there's different ways to play every single character, and like all of these kind of things really matter to create a complete Diablo-like experience. And so we're taking what I've done several times and then kind of taking that to the next level, and not adding the Marvel IP on top of that to kind of define the character classes. So imagine that every single, instead of having 5 or 7 character classes, there's many, many character classes. We've already announced 20 different characters. And the way that you can play each one of those also will have special builds in different directions you can take those characters. So combine that and then have all the other things, and making it an MMO and having these public events that lots of people can participate in. I think it creates a very, very unique experience and really makes it feel like the next level of Diablo.
I mean, one of the things that may be confusing to people is the way that it's being sold as an MMO and an ARPG. And
well, that doesn't exist, so it's really hard to grasp.
Yeah.
And it's really hard, and it's been really difficult for me to communicate that to people, because they're like, well, what is it like? And it's like, well, it's not like anything. That's kind of the point, though. It's like in taking the action role-playing genre, and there are several things that I think that this game and the IP really lend itself to doing, adding things that these powers and things that these superheroes can do that are different than traditional action role-playing games, and the new abilities that make a big twist on the way that you play these games. There's some stuff that really works well, and it really will, from a gameplay standpoint, will be awesome. Then taking that and making an MMO as well, that's another separate thing. That is, it's really, really difficult to explain. But imagine 25 people playing in the same, in the first areas of Diablo 2 together, and that's kind of what it's like. But we've designed the game so we encourage this behavior, so people are playing together, and there's a bunch of things to kind of support that, including these like public events that allow a lot of people to participate in. We're dropping loot specifically just for you. All the loot you see on the screen is for you. We're being generous with the way that we reward experience and cooperation and stuff like that. So it's a very cooperative experience.
Now, the game is free to play, and there's a lot of people that think, okay, because it's free to play, it ain't going to be that good. And okay, the free to play market is turning around a little. People are actually realizing that, actually there are some great free to play games out there. Was that a big concern for you when you were deciding the business model for this?
It was not, and then it was. Originally, when we were doing this, there were very few free-to-play games, and then really social games kind of came along after we started designing this, and so the association of what free-to-play was is like, well, it's like a social game, right? But that is not what we're doing. That was never the intent. That kind of grew out and changed people's expectations. But we're really making a free-to-play product that is a high-quality experience, right? I want to make a Diablo MMO that is got state-of-the-art graphics. We're using the Unreal Engine to render our graphics, and create a AAA experience. The game that I'm making is for the core gamers. It's for the Diablo fans. It's for Marvel fans. It's all of that combined, I think, will really create a high-end experience that people can enjoy, that's state-of-the-art and competes with any other AAA game.
Well, you are very well known in the world of ARPGs, and I'm going to ask you this now. Obviously, Diablo 3 is probably the most anticipated PC title in probably 10 years, and we waited 10 years for the damn thing to come out.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to know your opinion of the final product and what you think about it. And you can be as diplomatic as you want about this, but we prefer you to be honest, because it was your baby, the franchise originally. So take it away.
Honestly, I think that they did a lot of the things the best that they could. It was a very, very different game than I would have created. The team, the personalities on the team and their abilities and things like that dictated the type of game we made. I mean, the people and the talent and all of the design philosophies and stuff of the people that worked on it, the Blizzard in Irvine, we called them Blizzard South. Those people, they have their own style of game, their own way that they like to design and stuff like that. And it was very, very different than the Blizzard North people. And so I think that when Blizzard South took over the development of Diablo 3, it was inevitable that they were going to create an experience that was in the Diablo theme, but concentrated more towards the things that they like to experience and they liked about, including more story and things like that. When Blizzard North shut down, they lost a ton of experience with why the action RPG works and what about it works. And so that's really difficult to recover from. They didn't have the experience of people that knew, well, this is why you do things with random levels or whatever. And so that when you lose that experience, you're going to just create different types, a very different experience in the end than we would have created.
Do you think, purely then, it is down to the people behind? I mean, as I understand it, when the Diablo 3, from the work that you did on, as you said, it was an MMO, and obviously we've seen screenshots of early work that was done. Do you think really that maybe, I'll put this correctly, they bought the wrong people in? Because from people who, as I understand, Jay Wilson, for example, his background was RTS titles. And I think from our point of view, a lot of people, there's a lot of they misunderstood exactly what made people keep playing, i.e. the type of loot drops, which is one of the big problems right now, is they got the itemization completely wrong. And one of the other issues is the fact that they haven't listened to what the community were saying, and they haven't analyzed exactly what makes up that addictive Diablo experience. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the loot system, they made some decisions in the loot system that were very different than the way that we did it in Diablo 2. And I think that has, obviously, the community has been, upset with some of the decisions they made. Having all of your powers work off your main weapon, things like that. Having basically blues that are more powerful than yellows. And, eventually the auction house and how that worked, and the fact that even something as simple as when you equip an item and it's bound to your character permanently would have totally changed the dynamic of the game. And so it seems odd that they haven't really responded in a quick fashion to some of these things. I think that they're very well aware of the problems at this point and are going to try to move to fix some of this stuff. And so it's a shame that they had to learn some of these painful lessons.
And personally, because obviously you created the Diablo, I mean, how do you feel about it? Do you kind of feel a little bit let down that Legacy has kind of been mashed up a little bit?
I have very mixed emotions about it. on one hand, I'm sad that that people haven't enjoyed Diablo because it is a love and a passion and stuff like that, and it's obvious that people still have a giant love and passion for this, and they're speaking about it because they have such love for it, and that makes me feel great. I'm sad because people are outraged, and some of the decisions that they made aren't decisions that I would make, and so there have been some changes in philosophy, and that hasn't gone over very well. And so I think that in that way I'm a little sad. I'm also a little bit happy, which I hate to say, but is the fact is that I think that it shows that the people that were involved in Diablo 2 really did matter, and so I'm happy that that has kind of come to light about how talented that group was and how unique and special that group was, and I'm hoping that just like this happens very, very often in the industry. You see it with even Call of Duty and things like that. When the people leave, that the game changes, and it's just goes to say how critical people are in this industry.
One of the questions the guys in there asked me to ask you was, where did you come up with the name Diablo?
The name comes from when I was in high school. I thought of the game when I was in high school, when I was a junior, and I lived in the East Bay, east part of San Francisco, east of San Francisco, in a town called Danville, and I lived at the base of Mount Diablo, and that's where the name comes from. It came from the mountain. Once I found out what the mountain name was, then I was like, "Well, that's awesome." I didn't speak Spanish, and so I want to use that as the title for a game, for the nemesis of a game. So that's where we're coming. It's from where I lived.
Thanks a lot, David. You've brought a lot of pleasure to millions of people over the years, and hopefully you'll continue to do so. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.